defend that. One cannot justify that. But the truth of the matter is that the legislator himself or herself does not have the power to execute those projects. He has the power to facilitate, he has the power to initiate. There are procurement laws guiding the process of procuring projects, goods and services, as required by the Public Procurement Act of 2007. So where such cases that you have said happens, and there are abuses and breaches of law, the law should take its course. That is the truth of the matter. So you cannot say, for instance, that because that sometimes happens, in any case, there have been no clear one case of prosecution of any lawmaker, whether previous or past, in this regard. Where such cases happen, there are cases of abuses in the process. In Nigeria, there are almost abuses of any process. Look at what happened in the payment for subsidies, wherein the minister and the Ministry of Petroleum and Pt.3 issued licenses to portfolio companies to go and import diesel, import petroleum products. At the end of the day, they come back, do paperwork, and earn billions of naira. Those are abuses in the procurement process. So, but that does not mean that the legislator who has a responsibility to represent his people will watch a minister of works uses federal government money in his ministry, go to his or her own community and tie all the roads, all in the name of federal government money because he's the minister. And then a legislator who has power to do that and contested the election and promised his people that he was going to attract development will now watch helplessly. What does he tell the people at the end of 4 years if he's seeking a re-election? But the truth of the matter is that the legislator himself or herself does not have the power to execute those projects. So any lawmaker that cannot attract development to his constituency have no business being in the House or have been in the legislature. It is not only in respect of constituency project. Our country is one of so many absurdities. I mean, even when the executive themselves initiate project and starts the execution, they abandon them. Even when the same government returns to power after 4 years, sometimes it even abandons its own policies and projects. So that is a systemic problem that needs to be addressed. The need for continuity of policies and projects. Luckily enough, for example, most of the projects that were started in the last administration, we are seeing now that there are efforts to continue them, particularly in the areas of infrastructure, the railway, the power sector, the work sector. We are seeing that in this regard. But more often than not, there is this cases for abandonment of projects, even by those who started them, even when they return to power. You know, for all intents and purposes, that in the course of consideration of project, the National Assembly has often tried as much as possible to ensure that funds that are projects that are ongoing are funded in every subsequent budget so that they don't become abandoned projects. We have so many of them today. So sometimes it is not the funding that is important in terms of, it's not the appropriation for those funds that are the problem. It is the commitment of those who implement the budget to continue with the projects they meet on ground. And that is purely an executive function. So when projects are abandoned, whether they are constituency projects or they are other projects not introduced by lawmakers, it is not the problem of the legislature. It is the problem of the executive who have refused to continue the projects that they met in their respective ministries. What the legislature needs to do is to put its feet on ground through oversight function that those projects must be continued with. If a legislator comes to you with that excuse, know that he doesn't know what he's doing. Any legislator who tells you that the money he's supposed to, the money that is meant for constituency project, he has used it to cater for the individual personal needs of his constituents, does not know what he's doing. And I doubt if any legislator can say that. Because the money meant for constituency projects are not paid to lawmakers. The lawmakers have no access to those funds. In any case, before you introduce a project into a budget as a true representative of the people, you must be sure that the project you are implementing is the felt need of the people. So by the time you introduce those projects into the budget, you do not have the latitude anymore to decide whether or not to implement the project or to use the money to satisfy the personal and individual needs of the constituents. They are two different things entirely. If you as a lawmaker, you use your salaries and allowances to pay hospital bills for your constituents, to pay their school fees, to buy vehicles and motorcycles for your people, that is not constituency projects. That is, you are spending the salaries and allowances that you are earning, and probably borrowing to do that as well. The better words to be used when you attract a project, because the federal government, if you have also even state government, when a state government buys buses for the state mass transit, they put the governor's name, this mass bus, you understand? The best thing to do in that circumstance is, it is because of this mentality of personalizing office. It's not necessary. I attracted project to my constituency. The most I could do was to say this project is facilitated by Honorable Samson Osage. To facilitate is different from saying I donate it, because it is not my money. It is their money which, in exercise of the powers invested on me, that I have gone to use to be able to bring that project. So I'm a facilitator. I'm an initiator of that project using their power. So I cannot donate a project I didn't do with my money. It's not possible.
On the next episode of Tracka Plus, we visit Idofa, a community in Ogun State, to track a constituency project.
I am not impressed in the sense that the project has been abandoned for a long time.
You don't want to miss it. To be a part of the show, follow us through the social media handles on your screen with the hashtag #GetInvolved. Track and give us feedback on public projects in your community. Remember, don't just complain about it, do something. Join us as we strive for a more transparent and accountable society. I am Charles Semoze. Thank you for watching.